The report, Let My People Go, looks at the right to liberty and security of person during the COVID-19 pandemic in Uganda between March and December 2020. From hundreds of interviews conducted nationwide with victims of human rights abuses, prisoners, lawyers and members of the justice, law and order sector, Foundation for Human Rights Initiative researchers found that there was an increase in arbitrary and unreasonable arrests, excessive use of force resulting to injuries and death. 72.5% were detained at police beyond the mandatory 48 hours, delays in sanctioning files by the Directorate of Public Prosecution, denied access to legal representation, and an increase in corruption practices by law enforcers. For example, the report showed that despite police bond being free in Uganda, 98% of the people arrested for flouting COVID-19 guidelines were released after paying bribes ranging from 50,000 to 500,000 shillings.
People were kept in detention facilities until they secured their freedom through bribes. Due to lack of community awareness on legal and human rights, the local communities have embraced this practice.
Police declined to comment on the report, saying they were not yet familiar with its findings.
If they did, that is criminal. And if one has evidence of any person who extorted money and reports, this is criminal and they must face it.
To address the multi-institutional failures to deal with human rights abuses, FHRI has proposed a raft of recommendations, among them punishing errant UPDF and police officers, the UPDF deploying army to civilian operations only under rare situations, exploring the prospect of a civilian review authority, expediting the enactment of the Legal Aid Bill to increase access to legal aid, amending the Constitution to provide for state-paid counsel, and amending the Magistrates' Courts Act to empower them to handle capital offences.
The prisons are getting full, the police stations are full, bail is not being granted. There doesn't seem to be a commitment to serve the public.
Most of the human rights abuse victims have no chance of getting justice, as Uganda Human Rights Commission has been without a substantive chairperson for more than a year now.
For people who make complaints before it cannot have their cases heard. So basically everything seems to be blocked, and we are saying, wake up, you need to address these issues. It's not just about elections.
Statistics show a rise in cases of human rights violations in this period of elections, and the avenues for the victims seeking redress are still narrow despite the many calls from advocates. And this poses the big question: do the politicians who claim to care about the citizens really care about their human rights? Muhumuza, NTV.